All right, rock and roll. Welcome one, welcome all to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. I am your host, John, and if you could kindly hit that like and subscribe button. Here at the Scorched Earth, we welcome all, friend and foe, sinner and saint. And if you like, leave some comments. We're actually going to start out our show tonight with response to some comments I've been getting this week. And if you're really feeling like you're on the edge, hit that notification button. It actually exists. It actually exists, right? But here, and we're getting new listeners every day, which I really do appreciate. You know, we're trying to make a little more honest view of what's going on in the world, at least according to my perception. And granted, I'm on the Democrat side. But I think that the political power that is out there is, and in the media power, isn't really telling us what's going on. They're telling us what they think we want to hear, and that's how they keep us under wraps. All right, so we're taking no prisoners, telling no lies, and let's get going and let's burn it all down. We're going to burn this mofo down. And I am going to start out with some comments I've been getting, and I do appreciate the comments. You don't have to agree with me. Tell me your truth. I'll tell you my truth, okay? I respect it. It is what it is. But I've been getting a lot of stuff on the stories I've been doing this week about Israel's new offensive and basically how they want to relocate the Palestinian people, how they want to take over Gaza. That's obviously something Trump has said numerous times. And I think what is going on there is terrible. Well, I'm getting the trolls coming out saying, well, you know, Joe Biden started this, Killer Kamala, Genocide Joe, it was ethnic cleansing. Let me explain something to you idiots, you Arab Americans, you Palestinians in Dearborn, Michigan, who are stupid enough to vote for Trump. You're going to find out what ethnic cleansing is really all about. He's going to put 2.3 million people on a bus. He's shipping them to the middle of the damn desert, and then he's going to leave them to die. Straight up. You're going to have a humanitarian crisis like you have never seen in your life. And you know what? How does that vote feel? Oh, let's explain exactly what happened. Let's call it what it is here. October 7th, 2023, Hamas attacked Israel, took prisoners, killed Israelis. Israel responded. Understand that. I get it. Okay? You attack a country, they have the right to defend themselves and their people. Now, what happened was under Joe, maybe Joe didn't do as much as you Arab Americans thought he should do, but he did link the military aid that we allocated to Israel in this fight with allowing humanitarian aid so that people in the Gaza Strip, the beautiful Palestinian people, could get food, water, medicine. They allowed Doctors Without Borders in there. What happened when we got Trump? Sorry. Good luck. The last 2 months, no aid has gotten in. None. No water, no food, no medicine, nothing. Because they're trying to starve out Hamas. 2.3 million people. Israel has been bombing every day for the last 3 months. 2 months, excuse me. They violated their own ceasefire. They said, well, this isn't working well enough. We're not squeezing Hamas to give us prisoners. So now we're going to start the bombing. 50,000 people died last month. Women, children, innocent people. They are in a cage, 18 miles by, I believe, a mile and a half. They are literally in a cage. You want to see what these people are dealing with, these beautiful Palestinian people? Go to the zoo. Go look at something inside a cage. The gazelle, the zebra, things like that. That is what those people are. They're looking out from the inside of an enclosure, from a fence. They are getting effed, and they're getting effed again. They're getting killed. They're getting starved out. Famine is here. The World Health Organization and the UN have said that this is on the precipice of being an epic famine situation. So now what you're going to talk about is, oh, Joe did ethnic cleansing. You're going to find out what real ethnic cleansing is. All you idiots, all you people in Dearborn, Michigan, and throughout the United States, I'm going to show. 56 to 42 in Dearborn, which has the highest concentration of Palestinians in one city in the United States. Good move. Real good move. I mean, you might as well bring in Kevorkian because that is self-assisted suicide. You have damned your relatives, your brothers, sisters, uncles, nieces to death. They are going to put them on a bus, the ones that are actually alive. I mean, really, why not just starve them all out? Who cares, right? Let's just put them in the incinerator like I talked about the other night. They're going to ship them to the middle of the desert, and they're going to let them die because the second they're there, they're going to build a camp. You know, Trump says it's going to be this big, beautiful thing. Let me tell you something. The second they're there, they're turning around in the bus, they're waving goodbye, and they're going. They're all going to die. They are all going to die in the Egyptian desert. And it's your fault. You're part of this. Yeah, Trump's part of it. Netanyahu has no interest in ending this war. None. At all. Because then he's going to have to face the voters in his country and his ethics problems. But at the end of the day, you need to look in the mirror. Don't be talking about Joe. Don't be talking about Kamala. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. But they tried to help those beautiful Palestinian people in Gaza. And it's people like you who are trolling me, which, hey, man, bring it on. I ain't scared of you. Who are trolling me, who are sitting there, well, he was a better alternative. No, he wasn't. He has enslaved your people. He is going to literally show you what ethnic cleansing is. Go back to Bosnia in the 90s. Go back to Hitler in the 30s and the 40s. You're going to find out what it's all about. It's coming. You can't stop it. You can go ahead and jump up and down in the street. Now we're under a president who won't even let you protest on college campuses. Yeah. Forgot about that. There's another thing about Joe. Starting to miss him a little? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's all I got to say about that. Let's move on. All right. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney met with Donald Trump. Newly elected, Mark Carney and the Liberal Party was down 25 points in the run for the Prime Minister job in mid-December. Actually won by, I believe, 7 points. And he came to the White House to talk to the erstwhile Donald Trump, who still is imposing the 25% tariffs on Canada. Let's get to what's going on in the White House. Oh, yeah. Kumbaya, man. Kumbaya. That Donald Trump. Oh, it's going to be a good one. Don't you fret, little ones.
Massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of...
What is this tremendous medical care? The people of Canada have health care for everybody. We don't have that in America. What is he talking about there?
advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic.
You're a very autistic guy. You're an effing idiot. That's called a border. It's funny. He doesn't seem to have the same thought about the southern border with Mexico.
Person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military.
No health care. Let's get to that. No health care. Mark Carney right there. He learned something from Zelensky. He knows you got to butter up Fat Don. Okay, Fat Don's there thinking he's talking. Let's get to it.
Which honestly we give you essentially anyway, because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Do you really think Canada likes the U.S. now with Trump?
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace.
He wouldn't know too much because his soul and his heart are for sale for the highest bidder.
Visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. We have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security,
There's the compliment that works oh so well with Fat Don. He's revitalized security. Yeah, he's upset the beautiful relationship we've had with our closest ally in the world over the last 150 years. He's destroyed it. He's pissed on it. He's burned it to the ground. Talk about scorched earth.
NATO and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
And they have.
Yeah. So let's get to it. At the end of the day, Donald Trump thinks he got his pound of flesh. Mark Carney went in there and did a master class on how do you placate the big bully, the narcissist. Did a really nice job. Some things aren't for sale. Obviously, Trump, everything is for sale. The values, morals, yeah. Whoever the highest bidder. After this press conference, Donald Trump, in a subsequent meeting with the press, and let's remember, it's Tuesday, so he leaves Thursday to go golf in southern Florida. So we got to get these questions in now. He talks about we don't do much business with Canada from our standpoint. They do a lot of business with us. With us, it's only 4%. Well, the 4% figure is wrong. Official U.S. data shows that Canada bought about 17% of all U.S. exports in February and March of this year. 17%. That's almost 18. Canada bought about 16% in U.S. goods exports in January, second only to Mexico. Wow. Between Mexico and Canada, they buy a third of our goods that we export. Wow, we're treating them really well. I can see this is going to be a long-living partnership. Yeah, not working out too well. Official U.S. data shows that Canada bought about $440 billion worth of U.S. goods and services in 2024, more than any other country. And the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative notes on its website that in 2024, Canada was the top destination for U.S. exports. Total, services and actual products. Gee, what happened there? I guess it doesn't seem like they're ripping us off, but let us continue. Trump also repeated his frequent claim that the U.S. is subsidizing Canada to the tune of maybe $200 billion a year. Official U.S. statistics seem to disagree with Fat Don, show the 2024 deficit with Canada in goods and services at about $36 billion. You want to hear something crazy? I don't have the actual number here because I'm just, still dealing with it all. But Canada is the number one consumer of American automotive vehicles. Number one. So just saying, hey, who needs to really get into that thing, right? Don't worry about it. So let's continue with the news. Seems like India had a little problem with Pakistan. Those two fight like the Hatfields and the McCoys. They fight like The Rock and Vin Diesel. They don't like each other. They both got nuclear weapons. It's the only reason I'm bringing up this story, okay? We, as the United States, are under Donald Trump. Typically, we have put more of a footprint out there with our military bases, with soft power, USAID, where we fed, nourished, inoculated, medicated people who are in famine areas throughout the world. Well, these two are getting it on. And I don't know exactly where the stake is going to be drawn with us. Wednesday, Pakistan claimed it had shot down at least 2 Indian Air Force planes in response It's a major escalation between the nuclear rivals. They both have nukes. They both have nukes. India's missile strikes early Wednesday morning targeted terrorist infrastructure. Boy, oh boy, it seems like every country's got one of them. In Pakistan's densely populated Punjab province. You know, I love doing this, but let me tell you, when I start seeing words like that, I'm like, God dang, I got to get back to Scrabble. Punjab. I'm not making fun of it. It's just like, how do these people figure out what these words really mean? Pakistani forces had downed at least 2 planes from India's Air Force. I'm assuming that was with drones. The two sides have been exchanging shell fire and gunfire across the border, according to CNN. The U.S. State Department says it is closely monitoring the situation. Well, you know, at least they got it done at the beginning of the week before Don goes golfing. The Prime Minister, Sharif, said the country had the right to respond to what he described as an act of war. First time we've heard that. Now they're actually saying that the provocations are an act of war. That's where things can ratchet up pretty goddamn quick. India's military said it hit 9 targets. Justice is served, said the Indian Prime Minister. Let's call it what it is here. This isn't CNN. We are going to come down on the side of India because they are the bigger political power. They are a sleeping giant. You know how China was 30 years ago? That's where India is now. We are going to come down on the side of India. I don't know how we're going to de-escalate this. I don't even know if we will. As far as I know, you know, Donald Trump probably doesn't even want to get his fingers involved in it. You know, we're going to see what ends up happening, but it's something to keep our eyes on. Also in the news, U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, said late Tuesday night, that not to expect a big trade deal with China this week. Man, this guy is hanging on with his fingernails, right? Things aren't going very well there. When he and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer are expected to meet with Chinese officials later this week. There has been tit for tat. Trump is saying Prime Minister Xi has called him. Xi has said he hasn't called him. Whatever it is. Bessent also said, my sense is that there will be about a de-escalation, not about the big trade deal. These trade deals take typically anywhere from a year to 18 months. What's really going to happen here is Trump's going to walk it back. He's going to claim victory, and he's going to lose. We're going to lose more jobs. Let's see where we are in the second half of May when these container ships do not arrive in America and people don't have things for the 4th of July. They don't have back-to-school clothes for August because that's what those ships are carrying. Stuff like that. Bessent's comments come as the U.S. and China, the world's 2 biggest economies, have slapped escalating tariffs on each other as part of a larger global trade war sparked by Donald Trump on Liberation Day. Bessent said Trump was using strategic uncertainty to get the best trade deals possible. You know what this really reminds me of? You ever see Batman: The Dark Knight, where the Joker just burns it all down? I mean, this guy is literally Heath Ledger. He is the Joker. He has no plan. He just wants to see it all go away. He just wants to destroy everything. There is no 4D chess. I see all these political commentators, and they're saying, well, you know, what is the long game with Trump? The long game is to stuff another Big Mac in his fat mouth and to get another Coke and then figure out what one of the hot interns he can ogle and then go down there with his size XXXXXXL golf shirt, where he claims he's, 230 pounds. Yeah, right. I think that's kilos. He has no plan. He has no plan for any of this. And that fascinates me because he had 4 years to get all these executive orders getting lined up, right? That's what happened when he was in exile in Mar-a-Lago, right? He got that idiot Stephen Miller. He got all these other boy band Nazis together, and they were starting to write up, we're going to do this the first day. Now the executive orders are done, okay? The courts have stopped quite a few of them. We'll see how it all ends out. I'm not going to get into all that. We all do that every day. But now he's got to have some actual strategic things that go down. He loves the tariffs. We all know he loves the tariffs, and the tariffs are a tax. If they weren't a tax, why did you guys get your panties in a bunch when Amazon was actually going to post the tariff next to each item? Hostile act. Yeah. Yeah. There we go, right? Idiot on an idiot. I mean, literally, Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels and Dumb and Dumber, they were Mensa members compared to this cat. All right. Let's also talk about the Trump administration is preparing to eliminate two key environmental protection agency divisions focused on climate change and energy efficiency. No big deal. Don't have to worry about climate change. That's just a rumor. What an effing idiot. Including its consumer-facing Energy Star program. I'm sure you've seen the Energy Star program. It's that little star that comes on refrigerators, microwaves, stoves, and it basically certifies that it is at top energy efficiency. The government has had this program for basically 30 years, and they spend about anywhere between $30 and $35 million to get manufacturers to comply with energy efficiency. America last year, in America, the government spent, thank you, Joe Biden, spent $36 million on this program to entice manufacturers to try and get more energy efficient items every year. The energy savings for the entire country was over $40 billion. Think about it. $40 billion. He's also eliminating this climate change division because, in his mind, climate change doesn't exist. You know what? There's going to be a day when our kids or our grandkids look us in the eye and go, why didn't you do anything about the burning Mother Earth? And you know what we're going to say? We effed up. And this fat F, I'm trying to be good, Stacy. I'm trying to be good. This fat F is the guy who's sitting there looking us in the eye as the ice caps are melting, as the sea tides are rising, as Venice sinks, as Miami sinks, as these cities literally become the new Atlantis. This guy is sitting here still propping this. We need more coal. Yeah. Real smart guy. Real smart guy. All right. We're going to go one more final thing. A couple things, I guess. Odd things in the news. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has decided he will not run for Senate in 2026. The GOP has been courting him for the past couple months. He is term limited out as governor of Georgia, and they wanted him to run for Senate next year against John Ossoff, the incumbent senator, Democrat senator. And we are looking at a very divisive primary for the Republicans in Georgia. It seems like Marjorie Taylor Greene is ready to throw her hat in, and we will see if Trump does support her in the primary. But if you remember a couple years ago, there was that sexual predator, child pedophile guy, Roy Moore in Alabama, you're never going to get a Democrat until Roy Moore is literally the most flawed candidate ever. He runs, and the Democrats somehow pull out the victory. You bring Marjorie Taylor Greene into Georgia to run her against Ossoff, he's going to smoke her. He's straight going to smoke her. And it makes me wonder, what did Brian Kemp see? Is he seeing internal polling numbers? Is he projecting a year out that this is going to get really into a shit show? I think that's what he's seeing. He said, I wanted to spend more time with my family. I always love when a politician says that. Yeah. They're all consumed with power. They're all consumed with greed. Yeah, now it's family. Yeah. He's been in politics for 20 years. Yeah, now all of a sudden they care about my family. Sure, buddy. Sure. Finally, the conclave starts today to elect a new pope. God bless them all. They're in the Sistine Chapel. They're sequestered. I was watching a report on all the electronic jamming that the Vatican does so that news organizations, people can't pick up what is going on inside there. Bless them all. I got to say, I talked to a dear Republican, he's a Republican, but a Catholic friend, and even he thought that Trump's dressing up as the Pope, the AI photo, that the White House did release on all its social media platforms last Friday was very distasteful. I concur. Good luck. I hope they elect a good man and a good person. All right, that's it today, all my friends at the Scorched Earth podcast. I love y'all. We're in this together. We're on the side of right, we're on the side of good, and we're on the side of democracy. If you could, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you soon on Scorched Earth.